I still think they got a chance this year. Now, let me tell you this. I think you have a chance when you can shoot the basketball from the perimeter and when you can hit free throws. When you can do those two things, you're in any game because sometimes teams will beat themselves. And anytime you can shoot, you can put the ball in the hole, you got a chance. So I look at Golden State Warriors this season, not beyond the season, but this season, and I say they have a chance. The one thing that I will say, and that continues to boggle my mind, when they won those championships, you had Andrew Bogut and Zsa Zsa Jr., people like that, size, where you weren't relying on Draymond to be the 5. When I think about who the champions are, which is Jokic, okay? How in God's name you're the Warriors and you want to compete and you don't have a sizable opponent just to throw a body around? That's why I bring up guys like the DeMarcus Cousins of the world and various others who could potentially be out there. Just a big body to throw in there and sort of and somewhat clog the middle in some kind of physical capacity so you don't ask Draymond with his undersized self against these bigger guys to go up against them. I don't know why the Golden State Warriors has never addressed something like that. But in the end, this season, if Klay, and again, the Golden State Warriors shouldn't be the favorite, but what if Klay got hot and Kuminga and Podziemski are hitting jumpers too? Because we know what Steph's going to do. Think about that for a second and then say, are you sure they can't knock somebody off? I think they can, guys.
And look, here's the other thing. Just go back to a year ago. I don't think I've ever seen a team look more swallowed up physically than the Warriors were in that series with the Lakers. They looked small. They looked feeble. They were thrown around. They couldn't get separation on the perimeter because the length of the Lakers jumping out, they completely took Klay Thompson out of the series. And that's hard for me to get out of my mind. And now just fast forward a year, the Warriors are more inconsistent offensively than they've ever been. To your point, you're 100% right. Like on a given night, can Klay Thompson be that difference maker, get that hot that it puts? Yes. The problem is you can't really make a logical argument that you know what you're going to get from Klay Thompson, and that's the problem.
And let me throw this out there, Biggs. Like I mentioned DeMarcus Cousins. I didn't mention Andre Drummond. I thought Oklahoma City, for example, should have went out and got an Andre Drummond. You know, somebody that's just going to grab you 15, 20
definitely
rebounds.
Their weakness.
That's their weakness. I'm looking at some of these executives, and I'm wondering, what the hell are you thinking? Because you look at the pieces around these other teams. I'm looking at a Golden State. I'm looking at an Oklahoma City and stuff like that. And just ask yourself, if they got size, if they got somebody that can get an offensive rebound and give you an additional opportunity at a shot, you're trying to tell me that can't help you? And somehow, some way, you see these decisions being made by some of these teams. Well, maybe, this player might be a problem for this coach or whatever. I'm like, get the hell over it. I'm trying to win. The more I advance, the more money I collect. Excuse me, if I'm an owner, I'm thinking about stuff like that. These guys got to answer these kind of questions because there's some big boys out there, and I mentioned 2 of them, who can make a contribution to an NBA team, and why they ain't in the NBA, especially DeMarcus Cousins. Why you ain't on the roster right now don't make no sense to me. It don't make no sense to me. It really doesn't.
Stephen A., one of the handful of games that I went to this year was the Lakers and Golden State. And guess what? Klay Thompson looked like the old Klay Thompson because he had 17 in like the first quarter. He ended up having 21 at the half, and he and Steph got hot and shot the Lakers out of the building. Even after LeBron had a virtuoso, had a 40-point game, was sensational, they wasn't able to overcome that hot shooting by Klay Thompson. But you're right. But what we haven't seen from Klay is that level of consistency, Stephen A., over the last several years since he's come off that injury. Could he do it? You're asking him, so basically he's going to need to be that type of way. You got to win 16 games in the playoffs. Do you believe he can? In your 30 years of covering the game of basketball, do you believe the Steph Curry that you know can rear his head and do that over the course of an NBA title run?
I think Steph Curry needs help. And I think,
for sure.
And I think with the pieces that they have, if Klay give you a couple of big games, if Podziemski gives you a couple of good games from the Kuminga, Andrew Wiggins, those 4 guys, if 2 of them can give you accuracy from the perimeter, I think Golden State can beat practically anybody but Denver in the postseason.
Yeah, well, we're talking about.
It would take that.
We're talking about their ceiling. And
Right.
the problem is that
That's right.
they
It's
so
their
rarely
ceiling.
have hit it this
I agree.
year.
I agree.
And it's, by the way, I want to be clear. We're not just laying this at the feet of Klay Thompson's inconsistency.
No.
Wiggins has been inconsistent.
Oh, Wiggins,
Chris
yeah.
Paul's been inconsistent.
Right.
Yeah.
Kuminga's been pretty solid here for a few months now. I think I know what to expect out of Kuminga now most nights. But it's not just Klay. It's the fact that they so rarely hit their ceiling collectively. And we'd have to talk about replicating that night after night. First of all, it's just 2 playing games, most likely. On the road, most likely. I think that, to me, is a reach to think that we're going to see that. Look, nobody wants to see this team advance more than I do because I love watching Steph Curry play basketball. Give me more Steph Curry. That's what I want. I'm just being realistic about what I've seen all year.
I sure hope it's not over, though, because that's an end of an era, the 3 of them. They've been so fun to watch.
Well, if Klay is willing to accept a lot less, which I don't think he would nor should, then it's a different discussion. But the fact is that you can't pay him with some of them young bloods on the come up. They're gonna be looking to get paid themselves, and Klay is no longer the same $43 million player that he once was, even though I think Klay Thompson could be a vital piece for a whole bunch of teams in the NBA.
Definitely.
Hey, Stephen A. Molly just said for you, this for me, Stephen A. and Leg. Sometimes your old lady look better to a new set of eyes, so maybe Klay Thompson gonna look better somewhere else than he would in Golden State.
Yeah.
Did you have to use the term old lady, though? Like,
There you go, Molly. See?
no, you couldn't just be like my girl, my ex. It's an old lady. Ball and chain. Oh.